deconstruct, demystify, unveil, unfold. There's more to the arts than meets the eye, if you see it through the looking glass.
This week, what you see is not always what you get. And what you hear may not be as good as it sounds. The Looking Glass explores the art and craft of making music from the recording studio to the live performance stage. See it now through the Looking Glass.
This week on The Looking Glass, we're all about the music, which is why I'm standing at one of Pakistan's leading institutions for musical education. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Saira Akhtar. We're going to kick off this week's episode with a clip from a music video.
Well, there's a lot more to this picture than meets the eye. And it's crystal clear that whilst these men might be jacks of all trades, they're probably not masters of this one. And so this video proves an essential point, that in music videos today, you can create pretty much any sort of an optical illusion, because apparently seeing is believing.
But is it really? How often do people buy into this bag of musical tricks? Well, it turns out more often than you might think.
You see, in the world of music and music videos today, you're never quite sure about what's real and what's not. Before this age of optical insanity was upon us, music for thousands of years was only ever performed live, right in front of our very eyes. But today, a lot of the music that we experience is created behind the walls of a recording room and presented to us on television. And this has gradually yet fundamentally changed the way that we make music and also the way that we listen to it.
I think music is probably the first form of communication that mankind did. Certain sounds to show pleasure, certain sounds to show anger, grunts, growls, high pitches, low pitches, whatever. Whereas the phenomena of recording music is something that's just happened over the last, say, 80 years, maybe 60, 70 years. Recently, in the last 15 years or so, ever since computers came into the scene, it's changed dramatically.
With the expansion of recording capabilities, the musical artist now has two paths he can choose between. He can either choose to perform live, where what you see is what you get, and what is done cannot be undone. Or he can take it behind the closed doors of a recording room, where there are endless possibilities for creating a piece of music. Here, on a digital canvas, thousands of instruments and components can be applied or undone as many times as necessary. But the most compelling attribute of this powerful medium is that after thousands of years of creating and listening to music, the digital canvas gives music a visual translation. Sound can now be seen.
Later in this episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at the recording studio. But for now, we're going to look at why music makes the world go round.
Music provides a soundtrack to countless moments in our lives. Whether it's Led Zeppelin bringing dancing days to your teens, or even just playing Junoon when you're far away at college on a cold winter's night just to feel closer to home. Listening or hearing is now widely understood as the first sense that a human being develops, and it's actually directly linked to the parts of the brain that regulate emotions.
The fetus inside the mother's womb can hear long before they are born.
The thing about music that always it got me obsessed into music in the first place was the fact that it had the ability to influence you emotionally. And that's something that, that we as a culture tapped into many thousands of years ago.
Our emotional system is housed in the temporal lobe, what we call the amygdala. That's a key component of the limbic system, our emotional system. That is very close to our the hearing part and the smell part of the brain. Vision is a little further removed. Smell and sound is located closer to the emotional equator of our existence.
They say that the proof of the pie is in the eating. And for a little taste, here's this spine-chilling scene from Hitchcock's cult classic, Psycho. By today's gory standards, that scene was only mildly disturbing. But was it the murder or was it the music? We'll let you decide. Before the break, here's Psycho once again, but this time with a less psychotic soundtrack.